The right wing is melting down at Justice Amy Coney Barrett for siding with the court's liberal minority against President Donald Trump. The Supreme Court on Monday handed Trump a pretty big legal victory over Trump's deportation of Venezuelan nationals allegedly linked to the Tren de Aragua gang. You know how they made that connection through some tattoos? Ooh, wow. Oh, man. Now, the decision was 5-4 in allowing deportation flights to continue under the Alien Enemies Act. However, the ruling also stated that migrants must be afforded due process. I know that there's an argument like the MAGA chuds are all like, oh, the aliens, they don't have due process. Then how do you know that they're aliens if they're not allowed to prove it? Okay, they actually have to prove that they're here either illegally or legally. Okay, so that's what due process is. Due process, especially if you pick up an American citizen, due process is where they say, "No, I'm an American citizen. Here's my paperwork. Here is my ID. Okay, I am here legally." So that's why due process is super, super important. But you know, MAGA not in favor of that. Okay. Now, I thought the whole point, though, was to try to deport dangerous gang members. But again, they are deporting people with soccer tattoos. They're deporting hairdressers, people with no criminal records. In fact, a number of people that were sent to the infamous terrorism prison in El Salvador, that it's about 75% of them, no criminal record whatsoever. Yeah. So now the Supreme Court's decision was cheered on as a landmark victory for the rule of law by Attorney General Pam Bondi. Here's where she posted. An activist judge in Washington, D.C. does not have the jurisdiction to seize control of President Trump's authority to conduct foreign policy and keep the American people safe. Yes, safe from people what? With tattoos? Okay. The Department of Justice will continue fighting in court to make America safe again. Another huge win, Representative Andy Biggs wrote in his own post on X. Woke activist judges have no history, have no business blocking the president from exercising his constitutional authority. It is the woke, everybody.
The wokers.
Yeah, it's the wokers. It's the wokers. Everything is woke. Everything bad is woke. Okay, that's what they're doing now. More stuff. Representative Tom Tiffany of Wisconsin posted, major victory. SCOTUS ruled in favor of President Trump will allow deportation under the Alien Enemies Act to continue. Judge Boasberg ignored precedent and must be held accountable. Now, let's get these criminal illegal aliens out of our country. But you can't prove that they don't have any criminal history. Former Fox News and NBC News host Megyn Kelly told her followers that she was still reading through the ruling, but added, by Judge Boasberg, SCOTUS just handed Boasberg his ass on a platter, said MAGA influencer Gunther Eagleman. Gunther Eagleman. That does not sound like a real person. That sounds like a caricature. They ruled against him and granted Trump the power to use the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. The lawfare is crumbling. This is huge. Deport them all. Expel the invaders. Once again,
the Republican Party's racist.
Now, aside from the celebration, of course, MAGA is still targeting Amy Coney Barrett for voting out of lockstep. In fact, here is Ian Yeager writing, Justice Amy Coney Barrett once again sides with the liberal justices that President Trump cannot invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. She cannot be trusted. Oh. Pro-MAGA attorney Mike Davis writes, Judge Boasberg unlawfully and dangerously took the federal judiciary to the brink. 5 justices stopped him. Professor Amy Coney Barrett joined the 3 liberals. What a disaster. Total lack of sound judgment. Joey Manorino writes, Trump is allowed to deport any illegal he wants. It's called common sense. Amy Coney Barrett is a piece of absolute shit. Wow. Cat Turd, that's right, Cat Turd, said, huge Amy Coney Barrett is a joke. Amy Coney Barrett is a joke and a loser. And these Karens, and he talks about that in basically about the 3 liberal justices or women. These Karens are hell-bent on destroying the judiciary. Imagine losing our country, freedom, and the rule of law over these 4 utter clowns. There's so much projection here. So much projection. All right. Nick Sator reacted to the Monday night ruling by calling Barrett a, quote, Mitch McConnell plant, who, of course, voted with the liberals to block President Trump from deporting the violent Tren de Aragua gang members. But again, they're not. Many of the 238 migrants that were sent to the Salvadoran mega prison had no criminal records. They couldn't find anything. One of the men, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was here legally, living and working in Maryland, still got picked up by ICE and sent over to this torture camp, this torture prison. A judge ordered that he be brought back. But no, the administration is just ignoring them. So, talk about rule of law all the time over on the right, and they don't follow it whatsoever. Justice Sotomayor had written in her dissent of this, quote, government's conduct in this litigation poses an extraordinary threat to the rule of law. Ketanji Brown Jackson slammed the majority's fly-by-night approach and rushed conclusion, arguing that the temporary restraining order would have prevented immediate harm to the targeted individuals, while the court considered the lawfulness of the government's conduct. Now, that's what's important about this, right? And that's why it's kind of ridiculous that MAGA is celebrating, because they didn't take up the argument about the usage of the law. They weren't arguing on the merits of this law at all. Instead, the majority ruled that the challenger's lawsuit has to be brought somewhere else, to Texas, where they're being held, rather than in D.C. Kavanaugh had written a brief concurring opinion in which he emphasized that the court's disagreement is not over whether the detainees receive judicial review of their transfers. All 9 members of the court agreed that judicial review is available. The only question is where that judicial review should occur. So now, moving it to Texas, that's probably not good for these people that are filing that lawsuit. So let's keep it real. The district courts in Texas, not good. Not good at all. But nonetheless, currently, they weren't even arguing about the merits on this. Okay? So I think that MAGA might be celebrating a little too prematurely, while at the same time attacking Coney Barrett for upholding Boasberg's temporary order, while they figure out if Donald Trump can actually use that Alien Enemies Act when we're not actually at war and not actually being invaded. Okay? Because what war? What war? Unless Donald Trump's going to try to start one, which wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, it seems like he's doing everything he can rhetorically to try to piss people off, to piss off the rest of the world. Okay? But currently, not at war, not dealing with an invasion. Where is your ability to use this act? Okay? Doesn't matter for them. Doesn't matter. As usual, though, it shows you that if you deviate from Donald Trump by just even a little bit, then his fans, his cult members, are more than happy to come for you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.